right, look, we're all up front. We're just going to make a good time out of it. Okay, and our driver is Ray. And Ray, you know how to make the little U-turn and head right into the park? Yes, sir. So exit here, left turn, and first right. Okay, so I'm an Oklahoma girl, not a native, 10 years here. My oldest son was born in Denver. My goodness, Denver is booming. I'm sure North Carolina is as well. Our country is going strong. So I will let you know, this is the best view, so keep your eyes on the left. We love that Pikes Peak. We're sorry it doesn't have snow on it right now because that is our most photogenic view. But it's 14,115 feet, about 31st out of 54 14,000 foot mountains in Colorado, of which we're very proud. We have all the life zones here. We have our plains, we have our foothills, and we have our mountains. One thing we're lacking is water. I bet it's real green back home where y'all are. Yeah, so that's a real beauty and all your flowers. So while you're here, you will see maybe some rattlesnakes. I'm not sure. I won't take you on any trails where you might get bit. But we do have this ridge straight across, and we call it Rattlesnake Ridge. Because if you're ever going to see one on your trail, it would be right around there. Our visitor center has been remodeled lately, so we're glad you're here while it's looking sharp. We are proceeding with Yellowstone, and they said, no, y'all aren't big enough. We were only 300 acres back then, and now we're 1,300 because as the nearby homeowners sell off, they sometimes sell to the city. So our founder of our city, General Palmer, built this beautiful castle down there in Glen Eyrie. Now the Navigators own it, and it's Christian Retreat Center. And maybe some of you have had an opportunity to go, I don't know, but they have a Renaissance, a Madrigal dinner. They have wonderful times there. Yes, so right turn in. If you notice the antennae at the far south on that big Cheyenne Mountain, that is above NORAD, the North American Aerospace Command Center, and Canada and the U.S. are there. Here's where it says National Natural Landmark, so that's what we are instead of a national park. We just started our shuttle service due to TripAdvisor calling us #1 park in the USA, ahead of New York Central Park, hard to believe, but we are just blessed with the gift of this geology. It's a miracle. We had our own dinosaur found here. You might have seen it back in the visitor center, Theophytelia cari. So that's fabulous to have your own dinosaur. Now this little trail along here, this has been underwater before. Actually, the whole park has been underwater before. And this was called Camp Creek. The Ute Indians, the Native Americans lived here, tented here. They were teepee nomads, and they would have big events because it was a good stopping point on their way up Highway 24 now, but called Ute Pass for the Ute Indians. So here is our beautiful gateway entrance. There were a couple of German they were surveyors. Nobody knew what was out here. This was back in the 1830s, and they came across this. They had come down from Denver on horseback, and they said, my goodness, this is a good place to have a beer garden, of course. And his friend said, no, this is a garden fit for the gods. So therefore, there's our name. And there just so happened to be, right over in this corner where that white rock is, there used to be a tavern called Fatty Price's Tavern. He was a bit on the hefty side, so he would stand out on the front porch. And this was early on in the 1850s. And of course, we still have our beautiful entrance here. Well, it burned down because General Palmer and General Perkins were teetotalers. They did not want alcohol in this park. So when this park was donated to the city, there were 3 rules. 1909 was the year it was donated. No alcohol, no artificial buildings, and forever free to all the people. So we have kept the rules, and sure enough, we don't have any of that. We do have a little trading post that has been around at the Strassenbeck family for about 100 years as well. And they don't serve alcohol as far as I know. Over here on this hillside, we usually have Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep. Just love those animals. It's our state mammal. There was a truck back in the 50s, broke down, had a load of Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep. There were 30 or 40 of them. Well, of course, they have replicated themselves quite a bit. So we even give some away, and they go to other places. When you're lucky, I've seen them 2 years ago. I haven't seen any this year here, but Glen Eyrie, you can see them from there. Ray, try left here. See if we can find a good parking space. It would be on our left behind these bushes. It would be a long bus space. And also we can do it on the other end of the park if this one is taken. I think you may get lucky. Oh, we're living right. Yeah, see, right in front of those bicycles. Now at this location, these are 300 million years old, 300 feet tall. We have raptors that hang out. We have bats at night. And we just love to have you step out and just stand tall and look at our beautiful red rocks. Now the white rocks on the left side happen to be missing one important ingredient that we sometimes get when we put our bicycles outside in the rain. Everybody knows what that element is? Iron. Yeah, that rust comes from iron. So that's why we have red rocks, iron oxide, and the white rocks are missing that. Okay, so if you want to take 10 minutes here, we'll have like an hour for our tour through the park, and we usually spend about 10 here and 10 at the end of the park where Balanced Rock is. It's good for photos, and then just hop back on if you don't want to hop off. Relax and ask me any questions you want. Goldfinch and many more. Well, do we think something happened there, or these cars are just kind of waiting for some reason? I'm not sure either, but I think yeah, I don't know. There are quite a few junipers. Those were planted in the 1930s by none other than the Civilian Conservation Corps. Before the 30s, you might have seen the photographs in the Visitor Center where people used to drive their cars right next to the red rocks. Well, in the 1970s, our city came up with a big plan, and we decided to have some loops. So we are trying to preserve, of course, the beauty of our treasured space. So we have yucca, those nice speared cactus-like plants. And the Native Americans use those for paintbrushes, toothpaste, soap, and shampoo. And I've heard one of my fellow guides say she gave her husband some food from it. I don't know what kind, but anyway, I haven't ever tasted it. But they do have some beautiful pods and flowers at certain times of year in the spring. So this we called Babel Tower there, and we love that. And the garden looks gorgeous from the back side that we're about to go around. And just fascinating how geology has caused, you know, our uplift of the rocks where they used to be horizontal, now they're vertical. And then the wind and water erosion over the millions of years. And we are enjoying what's left. Besides the yucca, we have the mountain mahogany, the Gamble oak or the scrub oak. Here comes our awesome view on the left. And we also have beautiful pinyon and ponderosa pine trees. The pinyon pines are where we get our pine nuts. And they're the bears that happen to come visit us in early April, May. And they're still out there after they've come out of hibernation. We don't see many here, but we have had one run over, and so we have a display of his pelt. And here it is. I just love this. And it's real pretty this time of day with the sun shining on it. Thank you, Ray. Yeah, so nice. Of course, some of the juniper kind of have taken up some of the space we used to have. There was a bit of a hotel here at this end, hidden in. How it happened, I don't know, but it's been torn down since. And we have 800-year-old juniper that have the trunks that are all wiggly, and so we can see some of those possibly. We have choke cherry bushes. You might have seen some jams for sale in some of the stores. Gooseberry and a 3-leaf sumac, and then that 1-seed juniper. Yeah, not a safe place when we're coming through here. There is a mating pair of prairie falcons that come every spring to our Kissing Camels Rock, and it's always fun to see them, and peregrine falcons. And there's the back of the Kissing Camels with the little triangle under their neck. And we do have people who rock climb the backside of Kissing Camels. I don't see any right now, but they do happen along.
Somebody.
And we've given different names to the rocks.
Yeah, sure is.
This is Sleeping Giant. You can visualize him on his back with his head and his big tummy. Oh my gosh, there are people on the very top. Whoa, I've never seen anybody way up there. Wow, they are brave souls, brave souls. Now, we have had to rescue some people, but I think those people must know what they're doing. I certainly hope so. Oh, cool. Sure. That's fine, Ray. Thank you. They follow the deer and the rabbits and other small squirrels. You see the occasional mountain lion and the bobcats. We call these the giant footprints. You know, just a bunch of rocks there. The next cool rock I like will be on the left, and it's called the Scotsman. And he looks like he has a tam o'shanter on, and he's facing that direction with his hat over his head. It's right by this little picnic area up here on our left. I'm sure Ray he'll slow when we see it. It's just kind of fun. And on the right side, you can't see from the road, but we have something called the Siamese Twins. 2 parallel rocks here. Let's see. Okay, a little further right. Gosh, it seems like that tree. Okay, that's not him. We'll keep going, because I was going to say that tree seems to be covering that one. Is that him? That was him, but we can't see it now. Summer and spring has kind of made his face get covered up. I'm sorry. Oh well. Oh no, this is him over there. See him through there? Yeah. Oh, good. Woo! I hadn't been on this trip in a month, so I thought maybe the greenery. Now here's a good view. See how he looks? I thought that was a pretty handsome man. Yeah. Little Scotsman. Mom always said we had Scotch-Irish in us. Her maiden name was Looney. So she didn't like the name too much, because Looney Tunes were quite popular during her growing up years. But then she married my dad, Morton, so she came out okay. So here's our little picnic area, and there's the back side of the rocks. We may see some more rock climbers, I don't know. But at the end down here, we get Balanced Rock. and I always think it's a good place for a group photo. Opal said that might be a good idea. So I can take some photos with your photos, just kind of, you know, hand them to me one at a time. And I believe we'll get lucky, Ray. I'm believing in it. And we'll park at this end of the parking lot. We should be able to slip our little bus right there. No, sir, a little further. It'll be on our right. This is a trail to the Siamese twins. So you know those black bears, the females get up to 175 pounds, the males up to 400 pounds, and when they're born, they're only the size of a stick of butter. It's just miraculous. They're all omnivores, very opportunistic. We've all seen those videos over those bears in Alaska getting in the trash cans and all. Well, we have bear-proof trash cans in the park, and in our home area, you have to have bungee cords, and you can't put your trash out the night before. It has to be the next morning. And there are photos people send of them coming. Yeah, we'll keep right here, and that is a little loop that other people take. So we love our bears. Now you might have heard of the Manitou Incline. If you see like a straight line up there, it's railroad ties that go over a mile high. And our nice Fort Carson and Schriever Air Force Base and Air Force Academy cadets carry their packs, and they do that incline quite often. They're in great shape, as do our heroes in the police and fire. So it's, of course, and then ordinary people like us, you know, we do it too, but not very often. Those people, some of them do it nearly every day. It's quite a workout. And then you come down a different trail, which is serpentine, and it's called the Bar Trail. We keep going, you're right. It's that's one small little parking lot. So our balanced rock up here used to have a fence around it. It used to have a camera before everybody had their Brownie cameras. Back in the 1890s, a man named Mr. Gerke took photos of visitors for 2 bits. And then in the 20s, when everybody got their own camera, he built a photography shop and a high fence around it, and then you couldn't take a picture without paying him. Well, of course, the local townspeople objected to that commercialism and started a letter writing campaign, and so Mr. Gerke sold the Balanced Rock and Steamship Rock, which is right next to it, to the city for $25,000, and it was added to the Garden of the Gods Park. Before that, it was on the outskirts. So the fence was torn, okay, straight ahead, and we'll see, it looks like we are going to have a little slot. Sold in 1932, and the fence was torn down, and straight ahead here, and the first little open space on our right. Yeah, right where the stripes are, right? This is us.
Right.
Yeah, he got it. All right. And so here's our rock. If you don't mind standing on the sidewalk in this Garden of the Gods Club above our visitor center, his daughter, Lyda Hill, donated a lot of money for our visitor center, and they have a home up there, and then there are other residences. So we're always grateful for those benefactors who share their love with their community. Here's where our shuttle bus picks up and where the historical site is. I think, Ray, at the stop sign, you'll take a right and hang a left back in like we did full circle. That'll let us off right there at the same place you picked us up, I guess. Yes, sir, please do. So it's going to be up there for a while. It's pretty well balanced. So our city became a city, Colorado Springs, even though we really don't have hot springs or anything. Only Manitou Springs has quite a few natural underground springs. And they even had a bottling water bottle company way back. But Colorado Springs, we're lacking in water, but it's definitely a part of our name. We're the second largest city in the state after Denver, and we have grown quite a bit. and we definitely have many religious organizations focus on the family and Compassion International. And here's our tight squeeze, but look at Ray, he's got it. Yeah, we're gonna make it. Now what we're not gonna do is attempt a U-turn. Right, Ray? We're gonna go straight out. You betcha. You know it. I'm watching out for these visitors from North Carolina. We have some cute hoodoos on the right, the little toadstool-like rocks, and they're kind of a balancing act in themselves. They're scattered throughout the park. I don't know, you may see some. They're kind of back over there. Yeah, so they're all pretty. So the founder of our city, General Palmer, in 1871, fell in love with it, and he called it Little London. And he was the head of the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad. So he advertised and brought people out here. And of course, when we had our gold boom, Pikes Peak or Bust, in the 1859, we were after the California gold rush with the 49ers. People came through here on their way to Cripple Creek, where many people made their millions of dollars. And that's another reason we have some fine buildings. Some of the founders made their money and brought it back to Colorado Springs. Yes, sir. Left at the stop sign, and then we will make another left, I believe, on Beacon Street. It'll head us towards the trading post is our way back. We did have another road, but there has been quite a bit of construction in this area. What we are missing on this street are the tuberculosis huts. Tuberculosis was quite the problem about the time our city was founded. So people came out here waiting to have the rarefied air with a higher altitude coming from the East Coast mainly. And doctors said that our high altitude was excellent to cure tuberculosis. And so we had many sanatoriums. We have a mule deer on our right. It is also the season for the beautiful fawns with their spotted backs. I'm sorry we're not seeing a fawn, but there's a pretty mama right there. Little doe. Oh, I'm so glad. The fawn. Excellent. I've only seen two, and you know, some people see them all the time. So you just never know when you're going to get lucky. Okay, not this one. A little further down. We'll be heading back left when we see it. It'll say trading post. So they built these new fancy homes instead of these cute little teepee huts we used to have. But anyway, time marches on. But we still have a Pioneer Museum downtown that has the history of that. Yeah, where that car's coming out, Ray, we'll take a look. So here's some nice parts of, you know, how the kids like their skateboards and all. They have one of those. Yeah, quite fancy. So General Palmer talked his friend, Mr. Perkins, into buying the Garden of the Gods. And he never built a home, and he always kept it open to the public. He actually died before he was able to donate it to the city, but his children knew that it was always his dream that it be forever free, no structures, no alcohol. So they carried forth his wishes, and there's a big brass plaque in the garden talking about it, 1909. So this trading post up here, it was founded in the early 1900s when Charles Strassenbach sold carved gypsum figures to tourists just on a little tripod. In the 20s, it became the Indian Pueblo Curio Museum, so Native Americans would lay their blankets out and have their beautiful wares. And they would perform dances and make baskets and pottery and jewelry. And over the last 40 years, it's expanded 6 times, keeping its core. You can have wedding events in the basement, and there's still pretty scenery. That's Cameron's Cone, the one with the trees on it, and Pikes Peak is the gray one without trees. because it's above tree line at 11,000 feet. It's at 14,000. So here it is, founded in 1900, and they've kept the atmosphere. We'll curve around to the right and we'll exit right on through. It now has a Southwest Indian art gallery, fine jewelry, souvenir items, cafe, and meeting rooms. So I don't know how your schedule is, but after you drop me off, if you wanted to come back here, I'm not sure, Opal, you may have to go right on left here and then exit off. I think, it doesn't say you can't, so you can go out here and exit right. Yes, sir. So here it is, quite a cute little place. So we get about 2 million visitors a year, and especially since our, TripAdvisor #1 park came out. We have about 20 miles of hiking trails. Bikers come through. We had a Susan B. Komen run. We have other runs for different causes. We have bat walks, and we have full moon hikes. So it's a year-round park. We don't have gates. We have talked about it because there are these daredevils who kind of race through the park after dark. It's mainly sunrise to sunset. And here's a little biking tour, Catamount. And we do have a company called Academy Riding Stables. They let you ride horses through here for $50, I think. But in the hot summer, that's a hot way to see the park, I must say. Yeah. Technical rock climbing is allowed with the permit and the proper equipment. And we have photographers who love to come here. There was actually a famous one, Keeping Right. There's the Twin Peaks. There's someone way up top on that. They're actually not supposed to. If I had my little hat on, see, they're way up there. Okay, well, you can't have a ranger everywhere all the time. You kind of hope people use common sense and they play it safe. So hopefully they know what they're doing. So this photographer was struck by lightning. That is our #1 problem, especially Estes Park, which you said you went to. Yeah, Estes Park has a big problem with that. This is another nice perspective of the garden. So just take it all in. We used to have Easter sunrise services in the garden in the 50s and 60s. They were broadcast on TV. And we've had the JCs used to have a little jamboree in the garden. And it's still open to different events. Here's our man with the tam o' shanter again, so we'll be cutting back through that way. Just hanging right. When we have a first turn, we go straight through here, that little picnic area, and we'll get back up close to the garden and head on out. Now, I'm sure many of you know that America the Beautiful was written by Catherine Lee Bates, and she wrote it when she was riding a mule up Pikes Peak. She looked out over this fair area and just loved what she saw. And we have a statue of her downtown. Helen Hunt Jackson is also a famous woman who wrote Ramona, a novel about the Native Americans' plight. Here's our right turn, right? And she also wrote the book An English Governess in the Siamese Court, which became the movie The King and I. So that was nice. And here's a great view. Those climbers are still up there. Yeah. Everybody staying out of your way or not? Okay, you better figure out what we're doing. Now the Ute Indians, their history goes back 12,000 years. Their ancestors migrated up from Mexico into the West. By the 1500s, they occupied 2/3 of Colorado and the eastern portion of Utah and New Mexico. They're an integral part of our garden's history. We see fire pits from 3,380 years ago that are found. Ute means high land and land of the sun. They had the teepees, they had horses in the 1640s, and they camped here in the winter due to the milder winters. There's some beautiful rocks. So we have a trail marker talking about it, and there's Pikes Peak on our right, and then Cheyenne Mountain with the antenna pointing off that way, and NORAD, where Santa Claus is tracked. There's a big underground cavern under that Cheyenne Mountain where the antenna are. Yeah, this is another beautiful view. Saw a bluebird? Oh, good. Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't seen more magpies out here. But anyway, so many Ute descendants live here, and we have certain ceremonies at Rockledge Ranch every year. Have any of you been to Austin, that Congress Bridge where all the bats hang out? Yeah, well, we have our share of male bats only. The females stay in other areas, and we get to see them during the summers. We have the brown bat, the black bat, not the black, the pallid bat, and the little brown bat. I went on a hike the other day. We have an expert on bats and on rattlesnakes. I have seen them, yes. And no, my hubby did when they were on the front porch. He took his axe and chopped the head off. If they're out in the wild, we leave them alone. But if they're coming in the house, yeah, we're saying, no, this is our territory, not for you. So those bats are insectivores, and they're migratory. And our colony is strictly bachelors. The females and males migrate to separate summer locations to reduce the competition for food, and more babies left here, more babies survive that way. And it says people have planned vacations around these bat tours coming from as far as North Carolina. That's in my little notes here. So y'all must have left a mark on the person that took my notes for me. And here, we call this Cathedral Rock, this beautiful one. We'll probably see some rock climbers there. Here's another great view of Pikes Peak and Manitou Incline. And Rockledge Ranch was owned by another friend of Mr. Perkins and General Palmer. And it's a working ranch. They have sheep shearing, they have cows and horses there. They have an arts and crafts festival in the fall, and July 4th they have an old-fashioned baseball game. So it's really an active historical site. Yep, don't see any on this one. They're all on that big guy today. But this is where the bats hang out. The backside here is where we take our walk. All those little holes, they sleep until the sunset. They don't come out till about 8:45. Oh my gosh, yeah, he is taking a rest. Is there another one up higher? Okay. Just some good old rock climbers. Oh. And this is where we used to have water, Camp Creek, and the Indians enjoyed resting there. Now it's just open bike trails, hiking, and dog trails out there. So this rock has less iron in it than our red ones, as does the white rock up there. And we'll take a right at this intersection, and we've gone full circle. Our shuttle bus, which has that parking lot, picks people up here, so that's why they're hanging out on the left. And we will head back, and y'all will dispose of me and head which direction? Oh yes, you get to eat in the Garden of the Gods Visitor Center. I know you're hungry. Yeah, we are right on time though, 1 o'clock. We're like 5 minutes away. So I know it'll be waiting on you, and hopefully they'll have 2 lines and you'll get right through them. And I hope you enjoy your lunch. We just have a new Bean Sprouts restaurant there. I think they emphasize the healthy kind of food. So yeah, that's all we need, right? Healthy.
Here we go, folks. We're going up into the arch. That's what they tell us. I can't see. Can you see? Yeah, we're going up to the tip top. Yeah. All these boats. There they come off the boat. St. Louis, Missouri. We're downtown Bahama. We're still hiking right along. We're going up in that. Yeah. There's Miss Sylvia. Yeah, Garland's been on this trip. He's just behind the camera.
Yeah. Yeah, let me film you. There's Mr. Garland.
We're going home, Mom. Yeah. Holy smokes.
Exit only.
Exit only. We're on the wrong side. Here we go. Okay. We're getting ready to go up in the elevator. Everybody's getting separated now.
Going to the bathroom.
Yeah. This is what you're going to ride in. To go to the top of this thing. All right. Yeah, we're in the museum. And them dudes over yonder. That's the guys that put this thing together. It is amazing construction work. Amazing. I didn't really know all that stuff. To the top. That's where we're going. Okay, y'all. Going to the top. That little man right there has got a whole suitcase full of toys. And look at that.
Well, how are you?
How are you?
I'm just fantastic.
You going to the top?
To the top where I'm going.
I already been to the top.
Then I'm going to slide down on the side.
Woo!
And some of them have sent their photos back to us for us to show you all. We have photos going back to the 1960s while the arch was being built, all the way to around late last year. They're wonderful artifacts for us here at the park because we can kind of track how things have changed here throughout the years. And we also get to show you all a little bit of what you'll experience when you go up to the top and some of our history as well. My personal favorite photos are the ones where the two legs of the arch have been built, but they haven't been connected at the top yet. I think those are just really cool, and they also give a nice perspective into how this structure was built. If you could follow me back here once you're finished looking at those. February February of 1963 and October of 1965. That was just the structure of it. The ground was broken in 1961, and it took them 2 years until 1963 to dig the foundations and get everything ready so that they could start laying the stainless steel sections. The arch that was completed in 1965, but we didn't open to the public for another 2 years after that in 1967. During those 2 years, they were getting the visitor center ready and creating the trams that take people up and down from the bottom to the top and back down again. And the official dedication of the arch was in 1968. After the south tram on the other side opened, the north tram over here opened a year earlier in 1967. Since changes were going on here, they were creating new things and making sure that everything was perfect from 1961 to 1968. And that was a big chunk of the 1960s. We like to highlight that era of change and innovation here at the Gateway Arch because there was a lot going on that wasn't the building of the Gateway Arch in America and around the world. So I have a short video that I'll show you now, kind of documenting things that were going on while the arch was being built. I hope you enjoy. It is kind of groovy, so if you feel the need to dance, I won't judge you at all.
Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater.
I just want to say one word to you. Just one word. I just need to sort of plastics.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
The bill that I am presenting to you will be known.
Just what do you think you're doing, Jane? I feel much better now. I really do.
As always, should you or any of your higher force be caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow any knowledge of your actions. This recording will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Taking dusted my guns, Batman and Robin ride again.
There's the door going in, folks.
Number 8.
Capsule number 8. Here they come.
Come back the same way you go.
Yeah.
Quickly, get out. You only have like 1 minute.
Don't have but 1 minute.
1 minute.
They had too many in there. Didn't they? Good night. How many do they have in it?
Folks, you don't think this thing ain't tight? Look, it's tight. Oh, golly. Ray, he might have a seat and a half. Well, right now we got Walt.
He's busy looking.
We're picking up speed.
Look over this one.
Oh, I had the thing zoomed all the way in or something.
I might have to see that, Lisa. She'll know you're scared.
Okay.
Okay, we're moving now.
Yeah, we're making some time. Okay, we're almost in Mars. Okay, we're getting closer to the top. It's slowing down. We just hit a bump.
That was the one right before you get ready to shoot on 3 minutes down. Oops.
Look at all them wires. Oh my goodness. Oh no, it's got the box up. That ain't a good sign, is it?
Yeah, they had the boxes up. That is a good sign.
No, we don't have to use them things right there. Danger, danger.
I think we have to climb some steps once we get up there.
Probably so.
I think serious. I'm serious.
Uh-oh.
at the top.
So it's weird to be up here on the hill right now.
Wow. There's the ballpark. Pretty sure this thing is moving. Okay, we're back out here. And we was up on the top, the very tip top of this. Yes. Way up there. Seeing the windows. About to fall. Wow. Okay, folks, getting ready to depart the arch in St. Louis, Missouri. One more shot here of the big arch. Wow, she's huge. Yep, got her done. Headed for Kentucky.